Hello and welcome to the 18th tutorial in the JavaScript Basics series, and in this tutorial we're going to look at the switch statement. This tutorial assumes you've done tutorial 2. If you haven't, there'll be a link in the description to the source code, and as usual there'll be a link in the description to the source code produced from this tutorial. So what is a switch statement? Switch statement is basically used to perform different actions based on different conditions. It's very similar to the if-else-if statement, and we did that in the previous tutorial, but it's a little more simplified than that. We'll just show you how it works so you can fully understand. You just want to open up a text editor, then you want to open up the files from tutorial 2 in a text editor. What we're going to do is we're going to create a variable. I'm going to call it x, assign it the number 2, doesn't matter what you assign it. Then to do a switch statement, you do switch, open bracket, and then inside you put the actual variable that you want to check data against. So we're going to put x, and then you do curly braces, and then inside you put cases. So basically if I put case, and then I put the actual value I want to check if x equals. So if I put 0, then you put colon, and then you click enter, and now here you put the line of code or the lines of code that you want to execute if x equals 0. You can also put a break statement, and this basically means if x does equal this particular value, which is 0, execute whatever code is here, then break out of the switch statement, because if you don't break out of it, it'll just cascade down into the next case. Maybe you want to do that. We'll show you how to do that and why you would want to do that in a second. So we're just going to do a few more conditions. We're going to do case 1 break, case 2 break, and we're just going to put an alert now. We put alert 0, alert 1, alert 2. What also you can do, if you remember in the if-else tutorial, you can have an else statement, which basically is a fallback statement. If none of the other conditions are true, you fall back to that particular statement and you execute the code in there. There's a similar functionality within the switch statement. It's called default, and basically it just means if none of the other conditions are true, this is the default piece of code that you should execute. And here we're just going to alert default. And if we just open this up in a web browser, as you can see, I've still got the hello world, so we'll just comment that out. Refresh. Okay, so we've got the number 2. If we assign it 1, we have the number 1. And if we assign it 0, we have the number 0. And what we're going to do is assign it 9. So in theory, you shouldn't say 0, 1, 2, 1 or 2. You should say default. Refresh, and now it says default. As mentioned before, you can also cascade down statements. What you do with that is you remove the break. So for example, maybe if every case that was 0 or below, I wanted it to alert 0. So you could do case -1, okay, case -2. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. And what you'll do is if case -1, if x is -1, you'll go to this statement, and if there's any code here, I'll execute that. Then you go to this statement and execute the code here, and then you'll break out of it. So let's just demonstrate by changing this to -1, refresh, and as you can see, it says 0, even though the variable x is -1. It's basically cascading down, which is pretty cool. So that's it for switch statements. If you have any questions regarding this or anything else in JavaScript or programming in general, feel free to message us. In the next tutorial, we're going to look at for loop. If you need the source code, it will be in the description via links. And as usual, thanks for watching.